My name's Nick. I'm 37 years old and I used to be a girl. Transgender is when your identity, how you feel inside, doesn't match up with your physical being. Personally, I decided to transition to make my general interactions with the rest of society easier for me. A large percentage of how I feel and how I was treated in the general populace is why I decided in the end to transition. I started doing drama classes when I was probably about 7 or 8, and I've always been given the male roles. In every play I ever did as a kid, I was given the male role. My parents gave up trying to dress me in dresses and things like that pretty quickly. Yeah, they've always known. They weren't surprised. Not at all. I was quite the escapist. I took a lot of drugs, I drank a lot, I smoked dope all the time. And that was an escapism. It was just to switch off my head, switch the stress off, switch all the drama and the pressure. I would get anxiety sometimes when I needed to use a toilet in public, because if I went in the girls, I'd scare old ladies. If I went in the boys, they'd tell me it was a girls' bathroom. You know, that was probably the worst things that would happen to me. It's much worse for other people. Much, much worse. I thought about transitioning pretty much from when I learnt it was possible at about 18 till I was at 30, 31. It was a difficult decision. I really struggled with it for quite some time. Prior to transition, I had a lot of temper tantrums. Like, I would lose my shit in rage attacks. My biggest worry when it came to telling my family would have been that they either rejected me for it. I didn't think that my brother or my mum would, but I really wasn't sure how my dad would handle it. And that was pretty scary to go and tell them, but that was probably my biggest fear. And around my dad, it wasn't so much that he'd reject me, but I was worried that he would blame himself, you know, for buying me motorbikes and Tonka trucks and Lego and all the things that I asked for, because he's a good dad, so he bought his kid what they asked for. My parents were really supportive. Everybody went along with it pretty well, so went and saw a GP, got a referral to a psychiatrist, went and saw him twice. He gave me my golden ticket. So I took that off to the endocrinologist, which is the hormone doctor, who prescribed me hormones. And 2 years after that, I had my chest surgery. And that's about all I can afford. For bottom surgery, it's around $120,000 for what I would like, and it's just too expensive right now. As for the legal side of transitioning, changing my name was easy enough, but then a couple of years after that I applied to the gender board to have my gender recognised legally so I could get a male birth certificate. You have to go in front of a board of professionals, lawyers, doctors and so forth and plead your case pretty much, and it's a harrowing experience to say the least. As I had to do before to survive in the male-dominated world. As to what I do now in the workplace is completely different things. For example, when I was still on the tools and as a mechanic, like if I was to diagnose a vehicle, I would be like, this is what's wrong. I'd answer all these questions and I'd have to go into a lot of detail and prove consistently that I know what I'm talking about and I'm an expert on my field, and you know, really have to prove it to pretty much anybody. Today, if I do a diagnostic on a car, they go, how much? That's really all they want to know. They just immediately trust me. They don't argue with me like they used to. I get paid a lot more than I used to. I don't have to work as hard for my money anymore. A lot less is expected of me. If I make a mistake, it's not because I'm the girl or I'm the apprentice or, you know, or what have you. It's just, oh, this is wrong. How long do you think it'll be till you can redo it? I don't get into trouble. I never realised before transitioning how unequal the sexes really are still in this country. Until you've been on both sides of the fence, you don't understand it. In all, everybody gets judged, and it depends on how you react to being judged that really matters. I have gained a lot as well. I feel better about myself as a person, better with the person that I see in the mirror, much more stable human being these days. My mum says she prefers me better now. She says I'm a nicer person. I think it's because I'm not the stress head that I used to be. I don't lose my shit over ridiculous, silly things. I'm just happier within myself and easier to get along with. And I've got a partner that I adore, asks me back, and they love me for who I am. If I was an old guy looking back on my whole life and I had to go back and tell my 12-year-old self what to do, I would tell him, don't hesitate, say what you think, don't give a shit what anybody else thinks, just do your own thing, no regrets. Life is good.